There's a misconception that what I did was somehow a case study about my daughter, and it's not. I created a hypothesis, collected data, tested it, and came to a conclusion. That conclusion is the autism and the comorbidities theory. Princeton, Stanford, and Harvard took my novel conclusions, turned it into their hypothesis, and claimed it as their own. My hypothesis is that autism and the comorbidities are biochemically linked, so I created a biochemical network. I then took existing autism biomarkers, compared it to the network to find points of dysregulation. The pattern I identified is what has turned into the autism and the comorbidities theory. So what is the theory? What's the pattern? Gene mutations resulting in a system-wide stress response, confirmed by Japanese researchers in 2025, with the BH4 shunt at the center, confirmed by Brazilian researchers in 2025. And that stress response is prioritized over typical development and typical function in biochemically predictable ways. BH4 is a cofactor that's exclusive and unique to these pathways. It dysregulates neurotransmitter activity in a very specific way. Altering the speed and intensity messages are sent in the circuitry that's responsible for movement, habit formation, and reward, producing the classic autism traits. In 2025, Stanford released their study targeting this mechanism, calling it a cure. The autism traits are biochemically linked to the comorbid traits because the BH4 shunt also simultaneously causes something called NOS uncoupling, activating an epigenetic response. They activate to restore balance, but that balance is not restored because the stress is caused by a gene mutation. There are so many variations in phenotypes, depending on which stress response system the gene mutation impacts, and how they reallocate afterwards to restore that balance. However, it's biochemically predictable once you turn it into a set of variables. Princeton tried to replicate my study by starting with my hypothesis and saying, oh look, autism traits and comorbid traits biochemically cluster. How novel and unique. We created a paradigm shift after doing none of the work that it took to figure out why. The Harvard paper adopted my 5 categorical regulatory systems framework while anatomically delineating the nervous system biotoggle without citing me.